I think it's some body harvesting shit.
Body
Going on.
harvesting.
Yeah, because some of them their organs was
Yeah,
missing.
so they do. Oh yeah, so yeah, oh they selling organs now.
I think it's got something to do with that. It's a big market, for body harvesting and stuff. I mean, what other reason, what other incentive would you have to just hide these bodies and hide them from the family if it wasn't anything that was suspicious going on? Like, if I ran somebody over and if it was an accident and I'm the police, like it was a police officer who ran this dude over, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was an accident. I'm probably white. I'm probably covered by the law. I can just easily be like, hey, this was an accident, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm doing something shady, I probably hit that motherfucker on purpose. And now I turn that body in, make a little money, make a little profit off of that.
Mr. Crump, the story gets even more disturbing with this discovery of 215 bodies in that cemetery. What do we know about those bodies?
We know based on the records from the coroner's office that since 2016, in the last 8 years, we can identify 215 individuals that were buried behind that jail, and their families have not been notified. Furthermore, Mr. Wade was number 672.
The families need to band together and take this to the Supreme Court. I mean, they may not get justice, but I mean, like, if they take this trial and it gets full media coverage as it is, I feel like they can see some sort of justice, something instead of what they've been getting. It's getting attention. Before they weren't getting nothing.
Yeah.
They need to keep this in the news.
And the fact that they done killed her brother too. You know what I'm saying?
You know?
So she got hit twice.
Yeah.
Which is extremely alarming. I wonder if there's a connection between those two things. So in this video, we have PBS NewsHour reporting in on, just how bad it is in Jackson, Mississippi for prisoners. So check it out.
He had been buried in this grave. Mr. Crump, after it was discovered that Dexter had been killed, that he had been buried in this grave, his body was exhumed in November. There was an autopsy conducted. He was given a proper burial. But I also understand a wallet was found in his front pocket with his ID, his home address, his insurance card. What's the explanation officials give for why no one was notified he had been killed and buried?
There really is no explanation that they have offered. They claimed that they tried to reach out to Miss Bettison, and you should know that Miss Bettison is the named plaintiff in a lawsuit against the Jackson Police Department because they killed her brother 3 years earlier. She went through 2 criminal trials, had several press conferences. So when they called her house, if they did call her house like they claimed, they knew where she lived. They knew how to get in contact with her if they really wanted to notify her that her son Dexter had been hit by a police car. So it is very suspicious that they would just bury him in a pauper's grave because they said they could not identify his next of kin. Miss Bettison does not accept it. And because of her tenacity, it has exposed all of these loved ones being dropped in a hole in a bag behind a Mississippi jail.
Mr. Crump, the Jackson mayor did say there were mistakes. He also just said that Dexter Wade's death was a tragic accident. He said there was no malicious intent in failing to notify the family. We know the police department has new notification procedures right now. What recourse are you specifically seeking right now for these families you represent?
We're seeking to have the Federal Department of Justice come in and do an investigation to make sure that each and every one of these citizens, disproportionately black citizens whose lives matter, will be identified, their families notified, and them given a proper funeral.
And I should say, Ms. Wade, I mentioned families because you are not alone here. There's been, in the last few months, the discovery at least 2 other men, 40-year-old Mario Moore and 39-year-old Jonathan Hankins, were also killed and buried in that same cemetery, and their families not notified for months. From your perspective, Ms. Wade, what do you want to see happen now?
Well, first of all, I feel like that the city needs to give me an acknowledgement to say that, hey, I'm sorry. I mean, just give me some kind of closure and explain to me what actually happened to my son on that freeway that night. You know, how did it actually occur? You know, just what went down, the events that went down with it. And I want to see justice. I want to see justice done for this because it's wrong. It's wrong to take somebody's child and bury them in a field and I didn't even get a last chance to say anything to my child, or either I didn't even get a last chance to just say, baby, I love you. Just to look down on them and say, baby, I love you. They haven't even came and called me and said, Ms. Wade, could you come down and we explain to you what happened? I mean, I haven't even got a word. And so how do that feel? That makes you feel like they are guilty. They are guilty of a crime because they can't tell you what happened.
Ms. Wade, do I understand correctly that the mayor, no one from the police department, has reached out to you to explain what happened to your son?
No one have reached out to me to say, explain it, you know, to explain what happened to my son. But I did at least have city supervisors, the supervisors, the board supervisors, to say, that they hated what happened to me. But I haven't had said anything. Nobody from JPD, Jackson Police Department, have came to me and acknowledged me.
Mr. Crump, the story gets even more disturbing with this discovery of 215 bodies in that cemetery. What do we know about those bodies?
We know based on the records from the coroner's office that since 2016, in the last 8 years, we can identify 215 individuals that were buried behind that jail, and their families have not been notified. Furthermore, Mr. Wade was number 672. That means there are 671 other people buried behind that jail, marked with only a number.
Mr. Crump and Ms. Betterton Wade, I thank you so much for joining us tonight. I have a feeling we'll be following up on this story in the weeks and months ahead. Thank you so much.
One second. Okay. Any initial thoughts about what you just saw?
Man, the shit was kind of sad that they did that. I mean, they basically killed their son and buried him, like said, possibly to cover up a crime. There was no autopsy report. It was just hit him, tag him, throw him behind the prison. I thought in the article, I thought he was in jail, and they said he died in jail, and they just buried her and didn't tell her that he died, and they was like collecting the money for like a prisoner, because they were saying a lot of those bodies are technically dead prisoners, but I don't know if do they keep the prisoners alive in the books? If you say he's still alive, you still have to pay $80,000 a month out of taxpayer dollars for those prisoners. So,
well, they didn't report the death, so I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, they did keep it.
I mean,
right?
But I don't know if those are all prisoners. Now, if these are just
wow.
I mean,
they could have been civilians.
Yeah, I mean, they said he died because he got hit on the E-way by a cop. And they just buried him here. So
yeah,
I mean that doesn't make sense.
Well, she did mention like there was 215 prisoners' bodies behind that thing as well. But there was the man also noted that there was actually 600 graves there as well, or buried
670,
bodies.
because they had a number 672. So that shit ridiculous. So
it's very ridiculous. Yeah,
that's sick.
I think it's some body harvesting shit.
Body harvesting.
Yeah, because some of them, their organs was missing.
Probably they do. Oh yeah, so yeah. Oh, they selling organs then.
I think it's got something to do with that. It's a big market, for body harvesting and stuff. I mean, what other reason, what other incentive would you have to just hide these bodies and hide them from the family if it wasn't anything that was suspicious going on? Like, if I ran somebody over and if it was an accident and I'm the police, like it was a police officer who ran this dude over, I believe.
Yeah.
And it was an accident. I'm probably white. I'm probably covered by the law. I can just easily be like, hey, this was an accident, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm doing something shady, I probably hit that motherfucker on purpose. And now I turn that body in, make a little money, make a little profit off of that. And then they make another little profit off of that. And this is just where they've been hiding these bodies at. I know for sure it was some of them bodies that did, if not all of them, did not have organs in them. So,
yeah, especially when they want to perform an autopsy report and all that type of stuff. They probably found all type of surprises when they carve those bodies up or open them up and stuff.
Yeah.
Jay.
Oh man, like you can't rule nothing like that out, with the body harvesting, because like this, I hate to say it, but I mean the South has a bad stigma about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, people are known for doing corrupt things and covering it up. And I mean, man, my prayers go out to the families, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? The civilians and then the prisoners whose family weren't notified. It's just crazy, bro.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah. What do y'all think is with the lack of communication? Because they said that she did mention that she tried to reach out to the mayor, obviously the police department, but like there's no like the communication just out there. Like there's no transparency.
I mean, what you gonna say to a person? I mean, they ain't really trying to just sit there and lie in her face. So they just don't say nothing.
Just don't say nothing, huh?
I feel like.
I mean, when you start talking, it just makes it worse sometimes.
Yeah,
sometimes you ain't got shit good to say, so don't say nothing.
Yeah. Sometimes they fuck around, like they mess around, talk themselves into a hole and get backed into something that they came back out of. So they just give her silence. That's the only thing I could really think of.
I think the right thing to do is tell her the truth, but
yeah.
No.
You know how that go.
It's too much like right, you know. It's too much like right for some people to do the right thing and just notify her son was killed, and you know, like, why would they do that? That's a cover up, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. Obviously, telling the truth is gonna cost them some bread, obviously. But you know, that's just what's gonna happen when you don't want to hold yourself accountable. But it's an extreme problem when the people that's supposed to be holding other people accountable is the people that refuse to hold themselves accountable. You know what I'm saying?
Man, somebody need to go to jail. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
People need to be locked up. It need to be an FBI investigation, unless they in on it too.
Yeah, that's the problem. They be on
You know
it.
what I'm
So
saying? These motherfuckers.
I don't think nothing gonna happen to nobody. It's just gonna get quiet after a while.
Because
to
everybody
business.
in on a profit. That's a sick business, man. I don't see how you can contain with yourself doing that to people, man. It's very. You have to be somewhat mentally ill to harvest bodies and sell bodies. It had to be something psychologically wrong with you.
Yeah.
People.
I think
Yeah, niggas just greedy.
people
man.
need to band together. The families need to band together and take this to the Supreme Court. I mean, they may not get justice, but I mean, like, if they take this trial and it gets full media coverage as it is, I feel like they can see some sort of justice, something instead of what they've been getting. It's getting attention. Before they weren't getting nothing.
Yeah.
They need to keep this in the news.
The fact that they done killed her brother too. You know what I'm saying?
You know?
So she got hit twice.
Yeah.
Which is like which is extremely alarming. I wonder if there's a connection between those two things.
Probably is.
Sometimes in like that body harvest shit, they actually kind of have files on people who they want to get, so they make shit happen to you so they can get you. So they could have been on them just for whatever reason.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully, like I said, we definitely wish this woman the best. Definitely did deserve it. What is this place called? Was it Jackson, Mississippi? Jackson, Mississippi Police Department.
Yep.
Yeah, they should be ashamed of themselves. Matter of fact, they should be ashamed of themselves for quite a few different things. But
That's Mississippi. They don't give a fuck.
yeah, you know. But black folks in Jackson, Mississippi, definitely to start giving a fuck, and then start seeking some real justice. And I don't know. I ain't finna cite no violence and say anything like that. But I'm just saying, man. Sometimes hopping on the news is just not enough. But you ain't hear that from me.
There's gonna be a lawsuit that the state can't even pay for. The state can't even afford it.